Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Simple Stories Saturdays. And for this layout I'm using the range Simple Vintage Garden District. Now if you've watched some of these before, you know this isn't the first time I've used this collection and I've got lots of bits and pieces left, but it seems to be going a long way, so there's definitely at least one or two layouts left in this collection. So I've decided that I'm going to use a circle and I'm going to put it together with lots of scraps that I've got left. I want to actually use a specific colour palette for this layout, and I'm looking at using pink and green and black. So I've cut a pink circle of cardstock on my silhouette, and I cut a second one in just white paper, which is a tiny bit smaller. And I'm using that as a template to roughly cut some like wedge shapes out of the pieces of paper that I've got left, using the colours that I want. So there's some bits there with like a texture print with a bit of green on. Anything that's got pinks on I'm using as well. I think I cut more pieces than I need, but I then overlap them in the end. So it all depends what's on the pieces and the bits I've got left to what bits I cut out. They're not perfect. It's going to be fine. I'm going to distress the edges and you don't see the centre of the circle in the end. So I'm not too worried, but it was more about using up some of the bits that I've got left over from the last couple of layouts and getting a few more of these lovely patterns in my album. I've got a thing about Simple Stories as it is, but I really loved this collection. And I must have made 7 or 8 or more layouts with it. Just such a dreamy feel. There's a 3x4 card there. I keep offering it up, but I don't actually use it. But some of the other flowery designs I do use. And I just cut some wedges out with those on, just to add a little bit of interest to the actual circle. But what I need to remember at this stage, it is only going to be in the background. So I know it seems like a lot of work, but I'm quite enjoying it and finding it quite therapeutic putting all these bits together. And I'll get them stuck down once think I've actually cut enough. Just when I think I've cut enough pieces, I look at some more scraps and I end up cutting some more wedges for this circle. It does make me smile. I don't use all of them in the end, but I just wanted to add a little bit of variety. Some of it you can't even see when it's finished, but hey, it kept me quiet for a little bit of time, so it was definitely worth doing. I did feel that wedge at the top was possibly a little bit too big, even though I wanted them all to be different shapes and sizes. So I'm just checking I hadn't missed anything, and I've just tidied up a little bit, and I'm going to start to stick some of them down shortly. And I'm just going to rough up the outer edge as I go, and I'm just going to place them around, and some of them will overlap. I want some of the ones with the word print to actually be the right way up, so you could read it in theory rather than having the words at a bit of an angle. So you might find there's some text print at the top and the bottom. But as I say, these are all things that really wouldn't be too worried about in the end. So I'm just working my way around. They're not quite in the same position as when I'd actually laid them on, which is fine. I couldn't remember where I'd put them the first time. So I finished that off camera, and I've now printed a couple of photographs. I wanted something bold to go over the top, so I've stuck with the green theme in the photos. They were taken of my daughter at my son's wedding. And in the tray on the left, I've got various embellishments that fit with the pink and the green theme and black and white. And I'm going to try tucking those in either side of the photographs. I also came across some Prima flowers. I'm on a mission to use stuff up. I don't know about yourself, and I say this quite often that I want to use things up. And I saw these Prima flowers out the corner of my eye. The packaging says 2010. Did you? As I whisper that. Anyway, I've managed to use 2 of them. So hey, it was an unused packet up until that point. So I'm definitely getting 2 in my album. So I'm having a look, just tucking things in either side. I'm looking for a title as well, and I bring in a couple of Bramble Fox perspectives. These are older ones that I've got in my stash, and I was just wondering whether I wanted the title. This one I've got in black. Even though the background paper is black and white, I decided that the black might be too harsh, so I will come back in and change that later. I've created with this collection a number of times, so I've got some die cuts in there, that some leaves that I'd cut for a previous layout and didn't use, so they might get tucked in as well. And I feel like that's actually coming together really quite quickly. I'm adding a couple of bits above the photos, but essentially I don't really want to cover the circle too much. So I want some of the text and some of the patterns to show through. What I didn't mention is when I stuck them down with the double-sided tape, I actually took them to the sewing machine and I ran around the circle about 3 times in white cotton, just basically to hold it all down. I also found another perspective in my stash. It says celebrate. It's like a white banner there. And I backed it with a little bit of pink cardstock, and I think that went really well between the two photographs as the title. So the white is still quite obvious, but doesn't stand out in the same way that the black did. So I'm just going in now. I'm tucking bits and pieces in. Some of these little fronds and things, I'm using a little bit of wet glue, and that's just the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive that I'm using to do that. So I'm really pleased with the way it's all coming together there, actually quite quickly for me, if you've watched me scrap before. And I think because the circle, there was so much work that went into that, I was a little concerned to start with about how big to make that circle that I cut on the silhouette, but it's actually about 9.5 inches in diameter, because I wanted some of the pattern paper to show either side, so I didn't want it to be too big, and the papers are just a little bit inside that, so I think that works quite well. So I'm just messing with a few butterflies, adding a bit of double-sided foam on the back there. Have a couple above the photograph and one by the title, and I'm just filling any little gaps. I felt there was a little bit of a window between the title and that left-hand photo, so I've added a couple of fronds there. I do like to try and tuck in as much as I can. I've got a sticky frame behind that right-hand photo at this stage. I will add a little bit more behind it eventually. I just feel like it's not popped enough. There's a really nice sweet heart there, and I'm thinking of adding some twine to that, and adding a staple there just to add a little bit more texture. There was actually a staple image on the original. And I'm just going to use a foam pad to put that into place, and I can weave that bit of twine. It's very thin, it's like wax thread. I'm going to just weave that around both sides of the heart. It's just so it's not covering the actual words there, but I feel that this layout is pretty much there. I'd not scrapped these 2 photos before, so I thought that was really quite good for me. Still adding little bits and pieces and tucking them in. I do love layers. That is something that I really do love, but I'd still feel that with all that's going on and the background paper, the actual photographs still stand out. I'm just checking, because God forbid there might be something that I've missed, and I'm having a look at some of the stickers. Now, they're not all from the Garden District, they're from other Simple Stories ranges, but hey, that's fine. And I find one that says good times, so I cut in a little banner V at either end of the sticker to match the banner above it for the title, just to kind of blend the two in. And I'm just checking whether there's anything else before I actually finish this off. And I just took a bit of sticker in under that left-hand photo in a gap that nobody else can see but me. But hey, this is the finished layout, and look at all that dimension. I do look like a bit of chunk on a page. Thank you so much for watching. Do check out Simple Stories Saturdays. There's a great team with their YouTube hop, and we do it every month, so come back. We're all using different collections, and I'll try and use something different next month. So thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you fancy, and I hope to see you here again real soon. Bye for now.